I'm an intellectual. I'm an intellectual. I'm an intellectual.
Hey, it's your boy Kim. I got a question for y'all. Have you copped your FYI merch yet? No? What are you waiting for? Head over to www.flyyoungintellectual.com and check out the cool merch that we have available for y'all. We don't only inform, inspire, and interact through conversation, we also do it through design. Get yours now. Peace. What's going on, people? It's your boy Cam, and welcome back to another episode of the Flying Intellectual Podcast. I'm super excited about today's episode because we have a super queen trip. I'll call her a queen entrepreneur. She is from the island of St. Croix by way of Antigua and a lot of places apparently, and we'll get into that. But I'm super glad to have Ms. ZahraMuse on the show this evening, and I want to just talk to her about her upbringing. Talk to her about the things that she's doing now. She has been doing this entrepreneurship thing before it was popular. She also was one of the first influencers, and we want to talk about that too, because I think the first time I really came across Zahra was on Instagram, and she was like the first Virgin Islander that I really knew who was like an influencer, and I don't know if she like knew it at the time. So we're gonna get into that as well. But Zahra, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
No, you're very welcome. You're very welcome. We've passed each other a lot on social media. This is like the first official time we've met each other. However, I know like some of your family. We went to school together. Know your dad. Mm-hmm. I remember I was making a joke. I remember his green Tundra pulling up to pick up like your little sister at school. So and he was like a mathematics genius. So that's pretty cool to know like the kind of like stock you come from. Mm-hmm. So talk about your upbringing a little bit. And just like, work your way up to like Zahra as a little girl, what influenced you, what made you tick, and we'll go from there.
Sounds good. So
Yeah.
Again, thank you for having me here. My name is ZahraMuse on Instagram and Facebook. You can check me out.
Check her out.
From St. Croix. My parents are Jamaican and Antiguan, so I had that influence in my household. Moved around a bit, lived in the Cayman Islands, lived in Jamaica, lived in Cali because of my father's work. And in that whole experience, being in the Caribbean and then having a taste of different cultures gave me a widened understanding of life. My first real encounter with racism was in the Cayman Islands. When, I grew up in the Virgin Islands, St. Croix, everybody know everybody. There's that community and there's that...
Primarily black too.
Yeah, primarily black. Yeah. And then you go to the Cayman Islands where I'm the darkest one in the room, and then you feel it as a 7-year-old. And actually understanding that, I'm different for no reason other than my skin. So having that perspective, and then seeing the hardship in Jamaica, and how you had to turn your hand, make fashion. You had to do several things just to make ends meet, but still have a rich life.
Yeah, wow.
Because money don't make you happy. You can have as much money in the world and still be miserable. Yeah. So having those perspectives at a young age, and then being able to stand on my own, like knowing that I'm okay by myself. Going from a big community of family and village type mentality to then having to like start over and then switch and start over, which then helped me now because I could pivot like a mother. It's easy for me. Yeah. I could just switch it up when I'm ready. So that works well for me in business.
Yeah, absolutely. That code switching.
When you have to.
Yeah.
And then I got back to the Virgin Islands, graduated from St. Joseph. Yeah. Go Saints.
Go Saints. And TK was on the podcast before you. He's a Saint as well. So we got 2 successive Saints in the building. That's rare. That's rare. Yeah. That's rare.
And then I stayed home. Went to UVI.
Shout out UVI.
Yes, shout out UVI, the Bucks. Ended up going on St. Thomas. And I did that, graduated with a business administration, construction marketing. And I worked in the Virgin Islands for a little bit, so I was a labor relations specialist in the governor's office for like 7 years. Okay. I did that. And then I went over to St. Thomas and I did working for the marketing team for a very lucrative company.
Mm-hmm.
Did that for a little bit. And in between doing those jobs, I always had, my side hustles. So I modeled for a little bit. I started Lady Influence that shot up from 0 to over 50K followers in less than a year.
Around what year is this?
This was like 2007 when it was even
exactly.
popular.
Exactly.
Wasn't monetizing.
Right. So you're just doing it for the fun.
I was doing it because of my passion. Everybody know me for the big hair, natural hair, and the natural way of life and living. And I was tired of answering 10, 15 emails DMs a day about what I put in my hair.
Wow.
So I was natural. I was natural before it was popular to be natural.
Yeah, talk the things.
I know. I remember being the only natural hair girl in the room, and I remember like guys being like, "Why you don't comb your hair? Like, what's going on with that?" When I used to wear my afro.
Yeah,
so,
I know that's popular.
now it's like everybody. That's like girl been there, done that.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, but it's good to see because I love the fact that we are now embracing who we really are.
Yeah.
And the hair that comes naturally out of your hair follicles, it's perfect.
Yeah, just like it was. Just like it came.
Just rock what you have, sis. I'm all with it.
Right.
So, I did that for a little bit. I did some modeling, some commercial modeling for a while. And I sold turbans. I had turban parties. That was very successful around the idea that every woman is a lady of influence, and we should learn from each other, the older generation from the younger and vice versa, and learn the soft skills that you can't read in a book, that can only be passed down from your grandparents and people who've been there, done that for real.
Yep.
And then I got that bug, that entrepreneur bug that was like, okay, from 5, I told my mom I don't want to work for anybody. I will be my own boss.
Wow.
I already had that mentality.
And so, not to stop you real quick, but that's a question I had because, of course, you majored in business admin and marketing. So I wanted to know if, did you already know, and you just answered the question, did you go into it I'm going to pick this course and this degree because eventually I'm going to go there? Or was it just some of us is I don't even care to go to college, but my parents, that hierarchy of things that we grew up in the Caribbean, I pay for you go to high school, you finish that, you go to college, you get a job, you have to, is a non-negotiable in most Caribbean households.
Yeah.
So did you already know you wanted to be, did it have any effect?
It did. My parents are very scholarly. You mentioned my dad. My dad has 2 masters, a doctorate. I come from a very educated family, so education was a non-negotiable.
Likewise, I my father's Antiguan as well.
Yeah.
On the flip side, your dad, my dad, you would think he had 2 masters. He actually has a 10th grade what do you call it, education, but he read himself, worked his tail off, went to a lot of just. He was a absorber, so he learned Spanish fluently just by working at Hess. He just different things, and you would never know. You know what I'm saying? But them Antigans, and they are driven.
Caribbean parents as a whole.
In general,
African parents, anybody melanated have to go to school.
Have to go to school.
So
rite of passage.
I was science tracked in high school.
Okay.
I did a lot of the chemistry,
physics.
That was, I did trigonometry. I did, and my dad's a math teacher, so I had to do it.
Yeah.
But when I got to college, I realized I was doing the biology degree to prove something to my dad. It wasn't a passion. And so I pivoted then. I was like, okay, I don't really want to do this, but I have to go to school, so what next? So I did the business because I knew eventually I wanted to do some type of business.
Yeah.
If I had my way though, I would have opened a salon right out of high school. But my dad was like, you need to go to school. You want to put your hand in people's dirty head. You need to,
Yeah, that kind of mentality.
I did his route, and I'm grateful for it because I learned a lot about it. I'm happy that I went to UVI because I wasn't quite ready to go to the mainland.
That's fair. In retrospect now, knowing what you know,
because I got scholarships to go to Purdue and come there and there, and my dad was like, go to UVI. And I resisted it, but I'm grateful that I did. I don't have no student loans now. I've been blessed in many ways. So, and then the culture, really becoming, because in high school, you still don't know who you are.
Absolutely.
And I needed that. I needed more fostering, and I was happy to, because I bounced around a little bit growing up, being centered a little longer in my adolescence. That was good.
It's crazy. So, I didn't know. So even in my note taking and my research, I didn't know a lot of that stuff. So thank you for sharing that, the modeling and all of that stuff. So you said, let's go back to the influencer and just you taking advantage of social media, right? So, and we'll get to your restaurant businesses and all of that. We live in a social media driven world.
Yes.
How early did you recognize, like, this is a thing that as you said, it can be monetized and has a lot of value in it? When did you recognize the value in social media?
I recognize it probably like a few months in, when I went from like 500 to like 7,000, and then people inboxing me saying, "Hey, can you talk about such and such and such?" And or I have this product. Can you share it with your audience? And I'm like, oh, okay. What you gonna give me for?
For playing your product.
So sharing your stuff on my platform. Like, let's negotiate here. So that I kind of fell into it.
Around what? And I just wanted to get time frame, because I'm always intrigued with time frame. Around what time is this?
This is 07.
07, okay, so right around that 07, 08.
And then I wasn't really getting money. I was doing free product for it. And then until I realized, then, okay, free product don't mean nothing. You could still give me the free product, but then what's the dollar associated? Because from me posting this, you're gonna get 50 sales.
For sure.
So, that's a dollar.
My influence.
To it. Yeah. So I did that for a little bit, and then the bug of being a full-time entrepreneur, hit me, and the opportunity came. So this was right after Irma and Maria. I was planning to open a restaurant in St. Thomas because I love food. My family situation, we always have food. Food is like a love language for me.
Likewise.
I care about you, if I love you, I'm gonna feed you.
Facts.
Yeah. So I always had that passion for food, and I was gonna do it in St. Thomas. And then, about to sign a lease, Irma and Maria come literally wash away the spot. Like, the the beach was eroded, because I would do like a little shanty thing. The cruise ships come in.
Tourists,
live the
locals life. And will come and
hit them with a little accent and charge them $15.
For the
talk
thing.
So that was the plan. But God had a bigger plan.
Absolutely, He always does.
Yes. So I got the opportunity to go to the Midwest.
Okay.
I've been to Chicago once or twice.
It's not. It's cold out there. It's nice out there, but it's cold.
It's nice, but it's windy and cold. Like, go in the summer. If you're from the island. So I sold my car. I sold everything in my apartment, dwindled my life down to 2 suitcases, bought a one-way first-class ticket to the Midwest, and my journey began.
Wow.
2 years later, 2.5 years later, I am 2020 rising star in the culinary world, top 10.
Wow.
My restaurant been top 100 3 times in a row consecutively.
Yes, ma'am.
Been featured on PBS, Food is Love, in talks with Food Network, about to start my own pilot for a show. Like, God has been so good, because I took that leap of faith and I bust my ass to get where I need.
And that's the thing, because and I'm glad. Please, I like the description of everything. You're given the glory, you're given the gold, and you're given the glitter, but you're given the backstory. A lot of people just see, ZahraMuse on social media, pretty lady, looks like she has it going on, the businesses are popping, everything looks like it's great, but, they tend to forget, off of the gram, there's a lot of hard work going on, right? There's a lot of sacrifices being made.
Constant sacrifice.
Absolutely.
Constant sacrifice, because, even though I sold my things, I didn't have enough money to start. So I had to, in lieu, and this is one thing I want to share with everybody who's in business, in lieu of not having money, which is one resource. You have time, which is the most important resource. You have leverage of other resources like your family, your friends, your social media. Like you need to leverage those things and use them to your advantage, because in lieu of money, there's time, there's skill, there's talent, there's family, there's all these different resources that we say, oh, we don't have no money. Money's the easiest way, but creativity. If you don't have the money, you could be creative and find a way, leverage a spot. You don't have to own it, but you could use the space to do whatever and then promote your stuff. Like,
and that's the thing. A lot of people think because they don't have the money and they don't have the capital immediately that they just kind of sit down and it's like when it happened, and it's like nah. You know, a lot of people who like to quote the Bible, they skip over this very, very important part that says faith without works. You know what I'm saying? That work is dead. So
and faith is the opposite of fear. So if you have fear, it's the same energy. You gotta switch it up and get your faith intact.
It's the absolute opposite of it. Absolutely, absolutely. So thank you for giving these gems, because you know the whole platform is really to inspire, and I don't want to like have just this, you know, the glorification of just what it looks like when the finished product. You have to know that, look, man, it's a lot of work that goes into being an entrepreneur. You know what I'm saying? There's sleepless nights. There are, you know, days when you don't have money physically. Like you might have your money put away here and invested here. You already put on this down payment and you don't have the actual money in your hand. It ain't turned into something else, but you just know you have a dream, you have a purpose, you have, you know,
the will.
Because
let me tell you something. Every time you're about to level up, like real level up, I ain't talking about like to like jump couple steps. All hell breaks. Not something. Hell breaks loose.
Yes, ma'am.
When I moved, first encounter with black ice, I slid down a whole flight of stairs, knockout, had 12 staples in the back of my head. I still were opening this business. I had to choose between paying night bill or put my down payment down to furnish food in my restaurant. I did without water for a couple days just to make sure I had my first couple of payments for the different things. Like, if you have a will, ain't nothing under the face on this earth could stop you.
That's it.
With God's blessing, and if it's the right thing you're doing, it's gonna always work out.
Facts. And that's the mindset that you have to have. You know, the whole thing for Flying Intellectual is about mindset. The mindset, if the mindset is right, and I just posted this the other day, like a lot of people feel, you know, the word perfect, that word perfect holds a lot of people back, right? It has to be perfect, so I'm not gonna, you know, I want to write this book, but only when the time is perfect, or I want to open this business, but the business plan ain't perfect. Start right where you are. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
And you have, what you said is legit. The mind has to be there for the body to follow.
Facts.
The mind, your body can't go, your mind can't see.
Facts.
If you lack vision,
people perish.
You perish.
Yeah.
You're already dead.
Yeah. Facts. So around this time you started the restaurant. You said you moved to the Midwest. This is St. Louis. You open up the restaurant, and talk about that first year. So you said obviously you have to leverage a lot of things to kind of just get through the door to establish it. When did you recognize this is where you're supposed to be and like it's gonna work?
The first day. I sold out to everything in 3 hours. I had people knocking on the door. Hey, you're supposed to be over here, but I don't have food to feed you.
Wow.
That was when I know, thank you, Father.
Yeah, wow. And what kind of so I mean, I know it's like Jamaican based. What are we talking about culinary?
It's everything I grew up on. You get saltfish, oxtails. We did a little play with the jerk chicken. We have some fusions in there. So if you're not wanting all the traditional, you're scared. We could do some, jerk pizza, tacos, quesadillas. You have your mixture of everything.
Okay, you're making me hungry. Okay, let me get out for this food.
And then for my vegans, I get some jerk jackfruit. I forget about
Jackfruit is very versatile.
Yeah, we have our snapper escabeche. We have everything there. These are things I grew up on.
And your influence being, St. Croix, Antigua, Jamaica, you know what I'm saying? Everything infused into your food.
It became the perfect storm.
Sick, so sick. You're doing a lot of success coaching and branding strategy. Talk about how you kind of transition to that world, because I'm in the branding strategist and development world, and I know it's hard to kind of it's hard to market it. Why? Because everybody feels like, okay, they have the access to the social media, they don't really need to hire anybody to like help them execute. They'll figure it out. Why did you kind of go to that? What giftings and within yourself you felt like you had that you wanted to share with people through that?
Again, people came to me and asked me, hey, I see what you're doing, how you do it. And that's an opportunity for me to tell you and sell you what I do.
Yeah.
Because knowledge is power.
Facts.
And the easiest way to get from A to B is to have someone guide you through. You can learn on yourself, but on your own it'll be costly because you're going to have mistakes that cost you money. When I started my business, I had $1,000 mistakes. If I had someone who told me before, I would have saved tons of money. But hindsight is 20/20.
Facts, always.
If you want to get from point A to point B, the fastest way is to have someone guide you through who've been there, done that.
Yeah.
Now it varies from business to business, from situation to situation, but the underlying stuff are the same. So if you grasp the concept of these things, you will be successful. So that's why I did it. I'm working with several clients around America, and the things I implement with them are working. So I know I'm onto something.
Yeah, and it worked for you.
Yeah,
and that's why they looked at you.
I was the ultimate guinea pig.
The muse, right?
Yeah.
No, absolutely. And that's the thing, you bet on yourself.
Yes.
And that's essential as well. Bet on yourself. If it's something that you're truly passionate about, bet on yourself every single time.
Yes.
So let's
invest. You bet on yourself, but your investment. And that's in lieu of a course. That's in, picking up a skill. That's in listening to a podcast. That's in doing your affirmation. That's in meditation. That's in prayer. You have to invest in yourself. Make sure you eat right. Take your vitamins, sis. You need that.
Talk it.
You have to invest in yourself. You bet on yourself, but then people are like, yeah, I want to do this, and then one hard blow, you done knocked down. It's not like that. You have to keep replenishing that energy. You have to keep building on something. It's not just, okay, I go do this and then what? It's constant, because you go get hit left, right, and center. When you find that sweet spot, when you're leveling up, trust me, the devil see it and he go try everything to knock you down, but that's when you go harder. And you can only go there when you have a strong back. And to get a strong back is that investment, that constant deposit into your bank. You have to do it.
Going through that fire, and that's back to what I was saying. It doesn't have to be perfect. You know what I'm saying? You perfect by constantly doing. There you go, and learning on the job. Absolutely. Let's. I want to give the listening audience some gems, especially on the brand side of things. Of course, we're not gonna get them too much because we pay the bucks to talk to Sister Zahra. However, I would love to hear from you. What are 3 non-negotiables you think applies to branding that you feel everyone should build their brand on?
Authenticity. You can't sell something that's fake. Everybody can see right
straight through that. Yep.
So even with my branding, if I I do an initial call with you and I see that I can't sell you, like if you don't even, all of a sudden you want to start singing and you never sang before, that's not gonna work. Like what we doing?
Yeah.
People ain't stupid.
Yeah.
And they could read and feel you through anything.
Yeah.
You could paint it as nice as you want, but you have to be authentic.
Yeah.
Authenticity sells. So even if and I talk about perfection, even if everything else ain't perfect and you have that skill and you're authentic, look at Cardi B. She was real as a mother.
Yeah.
Everybody just gravitate to her. She ain't the best rapper.
No.
But she real as hell.
Yeah.
What you see is what you get, and people relate to that. Yeah. So you have to be authentic in branding. There's no negotiation with that.
Yeah.
Secondly, consistency. Because you could be right there to your blessing and you feel like you ain't going nowhere and you stop. And
That's it.
But it's so much harder to start over. So even if you slow down, never stop. You have to be constant. You have to keep going. You have to keep. It's like a snowball effect. You have to keep going. You have to keep going. You might have to slow down because life happens and we're human and all that stuff. But don't stop. Don't ever stop. Especially if you know that you're good at what you do. Someone will see you and they only take one person.
That's it.
To
One
change
yes,
your whole,
absolutely.
to change your whole life. The third thing is be cognizant of your surroundings. Like in branding, you could be going hard at something, you talented, but if you ain't seeing that your audience ain't paying attention, you gotta be cognizant of the time. You gotta see where you fit in the whole scheme of things. Don't be going left because I this when everybody going right. You could be the only one there. You gotta be cognizant of your surroundings. That's research, marketing research. That's engaging with your audience. It's just knowing, keeping your head close to the ground to see what's going on.
Yeah.
With those three things.
Yeah, it's a good start. Like excellent foundation.
Very
you definitely
good
have
foundation.
to keep your ears to the street. Know what the temperature and know what the times are. Be sensitive to certain things. Obviously.
Yeah.
Know your demographic. I think is another one. I obviously
the
I
target market.
Target market. Yep. Yeah, that's important. Why can branding to you do you think make or break a company?
Because branding is it encompasses so much in business. It's the look and feel, it's the taste, it's the who you're going to target. So if I targeting a 12-year-old, I won't be talking all these superficial words and stuff that I'll break it down for a 12-year-old to understand. So branding encompasses everything. We're branded right now.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You're wearing that logo for a reason.
Facts.
Like so, and you pick certain things for certain people. It's like the direction you're going based on your branding. So you are nothing without branding, whether you do it consciously or not.
And that's the thing. Somebody, I think it's this guy John Henry. He said, outside of just logos and and brand market research and all of this stuff, the essential thing of branding is how you make people feel.
Yes.
Because that's what they're gonna remember.
Yep.
Essentially, if somebody come to Kim and Kim treat them like shit,
That's
then
what they're
FYI is like non-existent to them because they're like, the guy for FYI kind of makes me feel weird, and so fuck him.
Yeah.
So you definitely want to make sure that you are making people, whatever you're doing, people feel a part and feel good. And not like in a a yes man type of like way, but just the authenticity, as you said. Make sure that people are being catered to and that they feel a part of the process.
Yeah. And just the saying is true. Manners will take you to the world. you treat. That's why I say treat people well.
Facts.
I treat the guy who sweeping the floor and the CEO the same way because it's only by the grace of God I ain't that person. It's only by the grace of God. So everybody, you treat them well.
Facts. And he's important because
it's very everybody have their place.
Facts. The garbage man is important.
Yes.
Let the garbage man them quit right now. It's gonna be a whole different Atlanta.
It'll be a whole different world.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. For sure. Man, Zahra's dropping gems for y'all tonight. I hope y'all listening. Take notes. Take notes. Let's cater a little more to our lady listeners. What are some things you would like women entrepreneurs to know when building their companies?
I want lady entrepreneurs to sit in their femininity. Because
let me sit out of this one now. This ain't. Let me sit back and listen for real.
I want you to bask in it because the mere fact that you're a female, you have the edge. Okay. You have to encounter people who have a different perspective on that situation because there's the notion that men rule the world.
That's never been true.
Farther from
that's never been true. Yeah.
And I find that a lot of our women, I gotta go hard, I gotta do this, I gotta get the bag or whatever. No, the bag will come to you. You could just sit and be pretty. You gotta work hard and smart. But I find so many women that lose the edge because they're trying to compete with men when you are a woman. And being a woman isn't inferior, you're different. And you have to use your different to your advantage. Because I'm a woman, I could sit in a room and that man talking, but I know that the other man is the man who make the decision. Only a woman could do that.
Yeah, the intuition,
the
sixth
intuition
sense.
is king. I walk into rooms and I don't even know how I'm going to get to point B, and I just sit there and I feel it, and I was like, okay, he talking all that talk, but I know this man is the man who I really need to impress.
Yeah.
And I impress that person, and I walk out with a 10K deal, easy.
Yeah.
So I want women to understand that who you are is important. What you bring to the table is superior, and live in that, and bask in it. Use it to your advantage. Because when you try to compete with men, you will always lose. You're not a man.
And that's beautiful. And that's one thing that I've been really trying to like spread the word about. Like I see, obviously, and it's not. I'm not gonna sit here and blame women. This is just the systematic thing.
It's
it's how it's been set up to oppress the woman. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of the things that I hear is like, well, men this, or I need to do it, I need to compete, and it's like, nah, like you're the women bring life. There's no beating that.
We're multipliers. You could bring one thing to a woman, she could turn it to 6 things one time. Men don't do that, unfortunately. Men bring it to you, but then you take it and you multiply it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a superpower. You know what I'm saying? And it's good to know our superpowers because it actually helps us navigate life a lot easier.
But on the flip side, don't ever think that you don't need a man, because God made man and woman for a reason. So understanding your role, understanding your place, understanding his place, and understanding that it's a dance between each person. We need each other.
Yeah.
So I don't like this idea, okay, I'm a woman empowerment, yes, all of that too. But there is a time and place for everything. And having that discernment to know when that time and place is also important. So I don't want to take it all the way left. Stay the course, stay middle, because at certain points you have to sway left and right, but knowing when you sway is important as well. Because we need each other.
Facts.
You can't have a child with a man alone. You can't have a child with a woman alone. You need each other.
Yeah.
So, in business, the same thing. You need that logic sometimes that we tend to kind of override because we feel a certain way.
Yeah.
Like it goes both hand in hand.
Yeah, that dance, that balance, finding that balance. Yeah. No, that's beautiful information, man. And I think at the end of the day, once you know who you are and once you're doing things for the right reasons, the intent matters, the why matters. Finding your superpower, standing in who you are. And what I'm saying, find the right partner, whatever that looks like to you. Try to make sure that you have someone who is willing to, take a little, give a little, and I think that will work out. It ain't gonna be perfect, you know what I'm saying, but at the end of the day, you know when someone is 100% there for you, in the good and the bad. We always talk about the cons of women in business, the things that y'all face, the oppression, the man-dominated world. What are some pros? You did mention one, just being a woman. You said walking into certain rooms, you can navigate differently because you have this sense, this innate ability to sense and feel and know what's going on before it actually happens. What are some other pros for our women listeners that you feel like being a woman in business can help?
Multitasking. We tend to be able to juggle a lot of things at one time and do them fairly well. It's always good to have focus on certain things, but in business you wear several hats, and being able to wear the different hats and still, be sane is important. And I think women have an edge on that. And I think those are the two major things, just knowing that intuition, being okay with being who you are, juggling, and that innate gut feeling that even in a relationship, your girl, you might be doing business with a man and your girl be like, I don't like him for some reason. I don't even know what it is, but
something ain't
right with that.
Yeah.
And then 6 months later, this man just take $10,000 from you.
Yeah.
She knew that before you even start.
Yeah.
That innate, if you hone into that, listen to that voice, you have to develop that voice, that be like, I'm not quite sure what this is, but I'm gonna sit on it. I'm gonna take this contract and read it again. And then you sit home and I hit you like that. That power is something that you have to control and hone. And you know, that's power of being a lady.
Facts. Tapping into that feminine energy, absolutely. Man, Zahra, I hope, you know, everybody at home is really listening to what you have to say, because there's a lot of information that you drop in, man. I want you to, as we wrap up, I want you to, you know, plug anything that you have coming up, anything that the people should look out for, your businesses, let them know where they can find you. You know, go ahead. The floor is yours.
Stay connected to me. I steady doing something different and something new. You can find me at Lady Influence. You can find me at ZahraMuse on Facebook and Instagram and Clubhouse. So
that's the newest entity. Yeah.
I love me some Clubhouse.
You love Clubhouse. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Just made a big deal today on Clubhouse.
Sick. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Clubhouse. There's a lot of value there, man.
And a lot of money.
Yeah. Yep. Direct money.
Yeah.
We're gonna top into all of it. Man, Zahra, thank you for coming on the podcast, man.
Thank you for having me. This was fun. I'll be back.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We could definitely have you back, because we know, you know, you're gonna be around the Atlanta area, and it's good to get back that interpersonal aspect, because I've been doing a lot of the remote recording just because of COVID and all of that. But you know, as it opens back up, I'm glad to kind of get that one-on-one time again, because there's nothing like that, being able to sit across from somebody and really feel their story outside of just hearing it. So thank you for everything that you really shared, and looking forward to everything that you have going on.
Thank you for having me, and you know, more power to you for starting this podcast, giving us a voice, and you know, more blessings for you.
Oh, appreciate that, man. Absolutely, man.
Yes, thanks. To lift each other up. So listen, tell a friend, post, share again, and post. Thanks.
Y'all heard Zahra, man. Until next time, y'all have a good one, man. FYI, peace.